Hello there, this is Geoff from geoffmobile.com. I'm here today doing a little video blog from my studio in Vancouver, BC, Canada. Today I want to talk about quality and what does it mean by quality. Recently I posted a video on my channel, which you can view below in the link below, about discussion of whether view count on YouTube matters. Someone replied back saying, view count doesn't matter, it's quality that counts. But when it comes to quality, quality can mean different things for different people. What might be interesting or good quality to some person may be not very interesting, or another person would think that that thing is rubbish. So quality is essentially subjective. And in art or in music or other kinds of things, movies, there's always a standard of things to compare against. That is, there's disciplines and patterns and standard forms that you can excel at if you have a very good example of a particular genre, for example. That way you can classify things and say, that's a very good example of a 20th century painting or something like that. But any kind of creative output, whether it's a video you've created, a photograph, or like a music recording song, anything like that, even if it doesn't stand up to, the best in the world of that particular kind of thing, it still can have value. It can still be useful to somebody, even if you enjoy making it and getting pleasure out of the act of creating, and maybe only 5 people in the world agree with you that it's a good thing. It can still be a valuable thing, right? So I don't know if you agree with me, but I think that any kind of creative output, if it was done with purpose and intent and someone was passionate about what they were doing, I think that can still be something of value, something that should be encouraged. It's really disheartening to see someone going to all the work of creating something and someone else comes along and says, oh, you're not as good as that guy, or you should listen to these people, they're way better than you, or I like them better. I think everyone, by the nature of being an individual, they have a personal style. They have a way of doing things that is uniquely to how they see the world, how they interpret things. And the creation process, I think, is one of the most magical, wonderful things that being alive entails, is the ability to create, the ability to produce things. And with modern technology, all the tools we have available right now, it's so easy to create with all the available tools, which are available at quite a low cost. So the camera I'm filming this on right now, it costs around $300. That's a pretty high-end point-and-shoot camera. The little recording unit that's recording the audio here, that is about a $100 recording device with maybe a $30 microphone. This equipment would have been unimaginable maybe 10 or 15 years ago. And I recently read an article on Twitter using my website, the Twitter Interesting Stuff Finder. I promoted it in my previous video. What this site does, what this article is, is talking about this emergence of a new creative class. In Britney Spears' song, Circus, she says, quite wisely, there's 2 types of people in the world, and she identifies one of them as being the people who observe, and the other one are people who create and are the stars of the show and actually doing things out in the spotlight. I think Britney is a little bit smart in saying this because she's really correct. Either you create stuff and you output stuff, or you don't. And there's a lot more people who just listen and consume than people who are brave enough to put themselves out there and create. And the only requirement nowadays to joining the creative class, people who do create in North America or in Europe, or I guess societies which allow free expression, the only requirement is just to do it. You don't have to get a degree, you don't have to have approval of your peers, you don't even have to have much of an audience. As long as you have ability to create through some medium, whether it's through a webcam or through a camera like this, it's pretty simple. You upload your stuff to YouTube or on a blog, on Flickr, and immediately you'll get people watching it. Some of them will give you feedback, whether it's a negative or positive comment, it doesn't really matter. As long as some people like it, it's probably good. And even people who have problems with what you say, like negative comments, even it's like they're taking their time to express themselves to you, even if it's a negative response. And I think it's totally, totally valid and totally encouraged for people to be able to express both a negative and a positive viewpoint on things. So in all this rambling, I want to talk about a few things that are key points. First of all, to be a creative person, creative class, the only requirement is to just do it, just to create. And through developing your own personal style, as long as you're happy with your creative output, the process or the product, then I think it's a worthwhile thing to do. And I think when you're creating stuff, you should really think about what are you trying to do. How does this fit with what you want to do? Is this what your personal style? Are you doing something just because you want it to sound like someone else? Or do you want to try to find your own voice? And I think because of the new tools and technologies we have that are becoming increasingly cheaper, like you can get a 1080p recording camera for $100 at Walmart now. I don't know if you'd want to buy a Walmart necessarily, but anyways, this is a wonderful time we're living in. My only hope is that we'll continue having freedoms to actually be expressive and express ourselves. The freedom to share, the freedom to create, the freedom to communicate. Because as soon as those things get restricted, I think it's a very sad world. And I think there's so much joy in exploring what someone else finds interesting, that if we cut off the ability to communicate in such a way right now that we currently have through YouTube and Twitter, it would be a very sad world indeed. Okay, thank you so much for watching. This is Geoff from geoffmobile.com, and I hope that if you like my slant on things or what I'm talking about, or my other videos, that you'll subscribe to one of my channels. I got geoffmobile.com and Geoff Mobile on YouTube, and I also have a more jazz-focused music page, Geoff Peters Trio, also on iTunes. Okay, thanks a lot for watching. I'll talk to you later. Bye.